Welcome back to RMAC Outdoor Productions. Today I am fishing at Oddell Lake, fishing for lake trout. I am deep water jigging. Right now I'm hooked up on what I consider a pretty average fish for this lake. It's 10 or 12 pounds, and I'm very excited. Notice this is during the wildfire. It is pretty smoky, which actually made for a pretty cool scene other than the fact that breathing was terrible. I caught this fish jigging a metal spoon in 80 to 120 feet of water. I'm using the spot lock feature on my electric trolling motor to maintain my position. And for all intents and purposes, this is basically video game fishing. You can see in the background my depth finder. When I was fishing, before I had the fish on, I would stand back and look at the screen, and as soon as I saw a mark on the screen, I would spot lock it and start fishing. Made a pretty fun outing. I could see the fish react to my lure on the screen as I was jigging. There were several fish, like 20 or 25 fish, that reacted to my lure but did not bite it and it did not catch. I only caught 3 out of 20 or 25 fish, which made it fun, also a little bit frustrating. You would hope that you would catch everyone, but anyone who fishes knows that's not how fishing works. I am bringing this fish up fairly slow just because I did catch it in around 100 feet of water. The reason I'm doing this is barotrauma. I could kill the fish from the change in barometric pressure from the bottom to the surface of the water. Since I do not plan on keeping this fish, I want to be very careful not to cause any barotrauma. Right now I'm putting on my hat cam to get a little hat cam footage. The fish is about half the distance to the surface right now, and I'm letting it just hang out in the rod holder, hoping it'll burp. And when I mean burp, it will release some of the air out of its air bladder, meaning that when I release it, it won't just float on the surface. It'll be able to swim back down to the depth that it was at and be just fine. Okay, I've netted the fish. You can see it's probably a 10 or 12 pound lake trout. I love the colors of these fish. I just think they're so really a neat coloration. And the big pectoral fins. It's always crazy to me how big their pectoral fins are. And this is a nice fish. I'm having a little trouble getting the hooks out there. There I go. And very happy to catch that fish. Showing it off to the main camera on my boat and getting ready for the release. Notice how I kind of throw it into the water, and it swims away just fine. Here's what it looks like on the main camera. Just gives you a little bit better reference of the size and the release again. Okay, this is the second fish of the outing. It's much smaller. I actually caught it a little deeper, around 120 feet. Okay, since this fish was so small, right here I'm actually letting the line back out, letting it swim down a little bit. I'm doing that to make sure that it releases air out of its air bladder again, and that way when I release the fish, I don't kill it. This fish hit my lure fairly aggressively, so I thought it was bigger than it was after fighting it for a little while and getting it closer to the surface quicker than I wanted to. I realized that it was not a very big fish. As we're looking at some of the hat cam footage here, notice that I just lift this fish over the side rather than net it. My gear is pretty stout. My leader material is 25 pound test. 25 pound test Maxima is what I like. The reason I have such a heavy leader for fish that look fairly small is Oddell Lake currently holds the Oregon State record lake trout, which is 40 pounds or greater. And every year there are 20 to 30 pound fish caught. Just in case I get a big fish, I want to be ready. My main line is 50-pound braid. I like the braided line, especially for vertical jigging. You can feel everything. And even though it's 50-pound test, it's got the diameter of a much smaller monofilament. So your jigs sink quite a bit faster to the bottom. This is the last fish of the outing, which is again a smaller fish for this lake. But fun to catch. I was having a great time. For more of the where and why, please join me on Patreon for a full description and full breakdown of the episode. Thanks for watching, and tight lines.